What's up, guys? Welcome back to the Dads Against the Narrative podcast, where we cut through the noise, challenge the status quo, and talk real talk about life, family, and the world around us. I am one of your hosts, Nate Feathers. You might know me a little bit better as Dads Don't Babysit on Instagram. Here with my co host, Jack Nofel, straight out of Mexico. And we are glad you guys are here with us. Be sure to hit that subscribe button. That way you can stay up to date with us on all the things we're doing on YouTube. Like, comment, and share this with as many as you can. We got to have the help to get the word out there for other dads to just be woken up, shaken up, and to just start thinking more critically about everything around them to become the best father, husband, and just straight up best man they can be for their families. We're also over on Apple Podcasts and on every platform, so make sure you give us a 5-star review. We really appreciate it. Today we have a special guest with us, and I'm going to leave it over to Jack to let us talk a little bit more about who's with us today.
All right. Thanks, guys, for showing up. And our special guest today is Travis Stoetzel. I hope I'm saying your last name correctly, or
Oh, you
better known as.
butchered it. You butchered it, bro.
Did I? How do you
It's
say
all
it?
good. Stoetzel.
Stoetzel.
Stoetzel. Everybody butchers it. Everybody says that same. The way it's spelled, it looks Stoetzel, right? But it's Stoetzel.
The best part is I lived in Germany for years, and I'm like, it's still like
Yep.
a tough name, though, to put together. But anyways,
hmm
better known as
Yep.
Forged Fatherhood on Instagram or any other platform you on, Travis, that they can reach you.
Primarily Instagram, YouTube. YouTube is like where I first originally started. I'm getting active on there again, but yeah, Instagram is where I'm most active.
Awesome. Well, thank you very much for being here, Travis. We appreciate you being here. And we're just going to kick off the show with one question. What was that one moment or red pill moment that really took you to the next level, or just saying, like, you know what, I'm going to unplug from this system and I'm going to trust my intuition and go this way?
Man, that's easy. So we go all the way back to when I went out to an event in California. So at the time, I had been a personal trainer, so I started my like professional training career inside of 24-hour fitness, right? I don't even know if those are around anymore. I think they are, but um, started in 24-hour fitness, loved it. When I first began, I was like, this is it. I can actually get paid to work out and talk about things that I love and help people get in shape. This is great. But just like anything, it starts to get a little bit old. It's kind of in the corporate setting too. Like I found out right away inside of that particular space, they didn't give a shit about transformation. Like they just wanted you to sell more and hit your numbers and sell more and then hit your numbers. And so I was about 2 years in and I was unhappy. Um, and I was just looking for a way out. And so I remember I took this chance, went out to this event. It was like for personal trainers and fitness coaches out in California. Bedros Keuilian, you guys
Mhm.
know that name, right? And I'd been watching his stuff for a while, just learning how to like sell more, and get comfortable with selling. And I remember seeing this, getting emails for this event out in California. I was like, it's $1,000, man. I don't know if I can pay that much, and then obviously pay for the hotel and all this shit. It's like my scarcity mindset was just like totally putting like chains on me. But I found myself out there. I remember going through the event. It was like a 3-day event. So the first 2 days, there's like tons of information, great stuff. And I remember they pitch like this mastermind group at the very end. And I'm like sitting on the back row at this event, and I remember they hand out like these pink sheets of paper for this mastermind event. I saw all these coaches going up there sharing their success story of how they left the corporate gym and started their own thing, and I was like, that's what I want to do. And holding this pink sheet of paper in my hand, I'll never forget just like the fear and the doubt and the uncertainty that I felt in that moment. Because for me, it was like the most money that I was ever considering spending, right? Like it was $2,000 down and then $1,500 a month for like a 12-month commitment to be a part of this like mastermind group. And I couldn't even like fathom that at the time. I was like, there's no way I can make this happen. And so either way, I fill it out and I'm just sitting there with that pink sheet of paper and, they're like pushing it. It's like the end of the event. They're like, we got 10 spots left, 5 spots left. So I, get up turn this pink sheet of paper in to the table that's like set up in the back of this like huge ballroom. I give it to him. I go back to my seat, sit down. I'm like sweating bullets at this time. I'm like, fuck, what did I just do? Like, I don't know how I'm gonna pay for this. Like, the gym's like I'm barely just scraping by right now. I'm making good money, but obviously corporate takes most of it. I think I was like a master trainer at 24 Hour Fitness at the time. So I was leveled out, right? So as soon as you like train 1,000 hours, then I think your pay goes up to like 20, what was it? It was like 25 bucks an hour base pay. And then you get like commission on top of like who you're training, right? Like if they buy like one session, you get commission of that. And I was sick of seeing how much I was selling every single month. I was selling like 50, 60 grand in training packages and then seeing my paycheck. And I was just like, well, this sucks, right? Like, how am I supposed to like grow any sort of wealth if I'm working from 5 a.m. until like 8 a.m.? 8 p.m. I didn't have kids yet, right? So I was just like, I don't know how much longer I can like continue to do this, which is what brought me out to California in that moment where I was like sitting there, I was like, fuck, I don't know if I can do this. And so I get back up and I walk back to that table and I come up with this lie that I'm going to tell him. I was like, hey, I need to get that pink sheet of paper back because I want to use a different credit card. I gave you guys a different credit card, knowing that I didn't want to look like an idiot. I just wanted them to give my pink piece of paper back so I could rip it up and then just leave the event. So they give me it. I go back to my seat and I'm just like contemplating, like, what do I do? What do I do? Came up with a really good idea. I was like, oh, I can just call my wife and ask her about it. And she'll just quickly say, no, are you an idiot? And then I could justify my decision on that and just, at least I tried, right? But it was that moment right there. It's that moment. You asked about the red pill moment. I swallowed that fucking red pill right then and there. I was like, forget about this what if game. It's now a whatever game, meaning like whatever happens, happens. I'm going to be the man that I need to be to conquer and overcome. Like, this is my calling. This is what I came here to do. I brought myself out here. I see the success that's being created by individuals up there. Nothing against them, but I can do what they're doing. Why not? So I turned that pink sheet of paper in. I was like, whatever happens, happens, right? And what I can tell you is taking that step and just facing that fear and joining that particular mastermind, like within 4 months, I paid for the whole fucking year, right? But on top of that, that was the launching point that led to my gym, which was the Forged Athlete Gym. And then it eventually led to this right here, the Forged Father. So I had a gym which morphed into the Forged Father, which was all remote. And now it's just Forged Father, fully remote. Like, I sold my gym a couple of years ago. But either way, had I not taken that step and swallowed that red pill and just chose comfort, right? Like, I knew I could just go back to my 24-hour fitness job and just play that out and be comfortable, and they can keep feeding me clients, 80-year-old grandma that needs to have rehab done on her hip, and maybe I'll get an athlete thrown my way here and there. But I was just like, enough is enough, and I'm going to take control of this, and we're going to run with it. So here we are today, man.
Dude, that's awesome. That's awesome. I can kind of hear it. Like, I love that because there's so many times where people are in that situation where you were, and
Yeah.
they don't want to take the leap, or they're sitting there in that same mindset going, I can't see how I'm going to make this happen.
Yeah.
And instead of putting themselves in a position where they're forced to grow, they run. And you kind of like, you had that moment where you're like, oh, I'm going
Hmm.
to get that back and not do that. I love that because I feel like what we're doing here on this podcast is we're constantly talking about how do we get dads to question everything. But in order to do that, you got to be willing to be the guy that stands out, sticks up, and
Yeah.
people hear you or see you. I mean, it basically makes you exposed.
Yeah.
And I think that's where the fear comes in. Is like, I don't want to be exposed as the guy who couldn't pull this off, or the
Right.
guy who can't make it happen. And
Yeah.
yet, that's the guy that's willing to do that is the guy that ends up making it happen.
I
100%.
mean,
And it's interesting because why did you guys start this podcast, right? To reach more dads, right? To wake more dads up. So it's interesting. Anytime I'm on a call with a dad, and I understand, the challenge with it because having a family that you're in charge of now, having a career, having being married, you got all this heavy weight on your shoulders. And so going back to when I made that decision, like I didn't have all of those things. And I oftentimes think of like, what's the decision I would have made in that situation had I had a family back home that, hey, I need to pay a mortgage, I need to, pay for my kids to eat. And I get it, right? And there's that fear and that uncertainty of what's around the corner, right? But it all comes back to, are you going to continue to live your life in what if state, like shackled to fear, limited by fear, or are you going to step into faith, right? And it just becomes this whatever guy. Like God has a plan for me. Like he's telling me to go. Like I feel it in my gut right now. I feel it in my soul. Like I'm gonna fucking go. Right. And so having conversations with, dads a lot of times it's like they got that fear and they've been so used to living a certain type of lifestyle and fallen into, specific patterns. And oftentimes the easy pattern with regards to like their decision making, it is to go back into that what if state. I'm comfortable in what if, right? Like what if I'll just continue to question like woulda, coulda, shoulda, right? So
Bro, you just said what I was about to say. Is like, how many times have we heard men just not trust God? And it's like you always hear like the guys who are successful say, "I trusted God and I took the jump. I leaped and I
right,
just let go." And guess what? God guided me to something I didn't even know I was gonna do.
right,
And next thing you know, it's just like, holy shit, how'd I end up here? It's like you blink and then you're like, damn, God, you really just took me and led me to a place I didn't even expect. But you can't
right.
do that without the trust, without the faith, as you were saying. And it kind of makes you think like, you know, this is kind of, we're truthers here. So it's like a lot of times we're programmed through education, through public
Mhm.
schools or whatever it is.
Right.
Somehow we're programmed, even from our parents, right? It just depends on who you have as parents. And you have to disconnect. You have to disconnect and you
Yeah.
just have to take that trust. And when you bring God into your life, I believe, like, and you put God first. I mean, I remember when we had Kyle on here, we were just talking about how like you dip your toe in and you're like universe, and next thing you know, it's like, all right, I'm gonna keep going. Oh God, now it's God, and then the faith is
Right.
starting to come, and next thing
Yep.
you know, you're praying with your kids, and that's the same thing. I mean, it's what led me here. It's just like
Right.
my wife said, I'm pregnant. Let's go get our kids dual citizenship. Let's get them a second language. Let's offer them something that we didn't have in the United States anymore. And that's going to be something that, well, now that we're here, it's like, dude, it's like living in the 80s. It's awesome. And it's like so
Right.
free, it's very familial. And I was scared. And I told my wife, I'm like, no, no, let's just push it back 6 months. And I did exactly what you just said, Travis. I'm like, no, no, no. What if? What if? And she's like, no, I'm thinking we leave in 3 weeks. I'm like, what the fuck? I can't leave in 3 weeks. What about money? What about? And she's like, no, we're leaving. And my wife's 13 years younger than me. And she just is like, and we've traveled different places at this time. I mean, now we've moved 7 times together in 7 years. I mean, a lot was military. That was before I retired in the military. But it was that faith. If we didn't have that faith,
Mhm. Yeah.
we would have never been here. And now we're like at this place where like, I swear I wake up every day. I'm like, God, thank you for this. I'm so grateful for the life that you have given me and that I can give my kids because I feel like I'm a better man in this location and aligned in this location. The location helps me become the better man. And that wouldn't have been happening without the leap of faith.
Yep.
So what you said there, man, that is 100% correct, Travis. I think people just need to trust God and say, I'm all in. Let's go.
Yeah. And the hard thing about that is like God doesn't reveal the whole plan, right? He's just telling you what to do next. And so having that trust and faith in that, because that's where most guys derail themselves. They're like, well, I want to know what the whole plan is. Like, where am I going to be at in a year? Nobody knows. So all you can control is like your next step. Take that next step that's going to reveal something. It's going to put you into the exact place that you're supposed to be in. And then it's just what are you going to do from there? And you just keep building, building, building. It's interesting because it just the people that it brings into your life, right? That's the other thing is like, had I not taken that step, I would have went back to comfort. I would have went back to what I known. And it's interesting. I look back at the whole roster of people that work with me at 24 Hour Fitness. Like back then, we had a pretty badass like team of trainers, like people that are very knowledgeable, very good at what they did. Guess how many of them actually do that still? Out of 15 of us,
0.
me,
Ah,
myself, and one other.
Dang.
And the rest, like, they're not even in the fitness industry anymore. But it was interesting because when I took that leap, they all kind of just stayed there and we'd stay in touch. And it was just like you kind of drift away from those people, but then you're brought into a new environment with new people. They elevate you. And the thing, it just keeps happening, right? Like we keep taking these leaps of faith. It's not like you're just going to do it once and then everything's good. It's like it's you reach a new level, or what we oftentimes talk about in our program. It's like what peak are you chasing now? Because like
Mm.
once you get to the top of that peak, guess what? You're at a trailhead for another peak. And it's just a continual process. It was just an endless pursuit. So you got to keep stepping into that faith, you know?
Yeah.
That's the game.
So when I was in college, I studied ministry, and one of the things that I noticed was that guys would always say like, "Well, I'm waiting on God. I'm waiting on God," and it used to drive me nuts because they'd be like, "Well, I'm waiting on God to tell me what to do," and it was kind of goes along with what you said about like where you felt like God was like, "Yeah, you need to do this," and
Mhm.
I wonder if I always felt like it was an excuse. It always felt like it was an excuse. Well, I'm waiting on God to speak to me, and I'm kind of like, don't you have that voice inside of you that's telling you you should do something? And I felt like that even now I look back and go, yeah, that was God saying what you should do. And then you bitching out and basically, I mean, like, no, I don't want to do that and backing away. And so you had that chance to actually do it or or back away. And I think like what I wanted to get your take on this too, but it feels like that whole only being able to see the next step is kind of like giving you reps. Like you don't just
Mhm.
go get under a barbell and squat 405 because that like that you want to. You actually have to work to it.
Right.
And then you can do it after you've done the reps that get you there or any kind of physical training. It's kind of the same thing with spiritual training. It's like, well, I felt that God was leading me here, so I have to do that. And then wherever we go from there, he's going to make you take a little bit bigger step. Um, I'd love to hear you speak to about that. I've got a buddy of mine. We kind of I can't see God any other way anymore, but I kind of see God as Ronnie Coleman now, and where he's just like lightweight and add more weight, just
Mhm.
add weight, and that's all I ever see. So we'll talk about how Ronnie Coleman's got us doing something new because he's trying to get us to put on more weight. Talk to a little bit more about that. Like, how do you help guys with that kind of concept to actually trust the intuition inside them? That really is more likely the voice of God speaking to them.
100%. In my mind, it all starts with just owning the truth, your truth, number one. Because for most men, that is what's blinding them from getting any sort of message coming from God is they're just bullshitters. They're
Mm.
liars, right? So one of the first things that we oftentimes do, and it's interesting with guys that come into our program, they'll often talk about, well, my connection with God is like non-existent, or it's like a convenient one, right? It's like, oh, when I feel like I need him, then I'll pray, right? Well, a lot of that is because they're not even listening to themselves. Like they're a big liar to themselves. Like they're not even a man of their word. They don't follow through on anything they say. And it's interesting because a lot of the guys that, come my way, it's not like they're bad individuals. They're good men. They're good, honest men. They're not cheating on their wives. They're not stealing. They're not killing, but they're lying to themselves every single day. And it's not like these massive blows that they're taking from these lies that they're telling themselves. It's just I like to say it's a death by a thousand cuts, right? It's like that one little lie that you tell yourself day after day after day, or just those handful of lies that you've gotten so comfortable with telling yourself on a day-to-day basis. Those are what we need to attack first. Like start to trust yourself more, and then that voice is going to get louder and louder and louder. And you know what it typically says? I've been telling you for so long now. You already knew what you needed to do. Now you're finally doing it. now we can have like a deeper conversation because you've gotten out of your own fucking way. Thank you. Let's go. Right. And so that's why fitness for me has been like such a gateway to connect with God more. Right. Like fitness to me, like it's a discipline. Only you can put the work in on you. And when I'm in it, and I've made a commitment. So on November 9th, it'll be 4 years straight where I've been following a specific routine every single morning. I call it AM Rise and Conquer. And this is what I get my guys tapped into. I was like, you've got to start your day off with a specific routine that you're committed to. It's no ifs, ands, or buts. It's like, doesn't fucking matter. You're going to wake up, you're going to get into it. And so it used to be just fitness, right? But for the past 2 years, now it's been faith and fitness. So I wake up at a specific time, straight into the cold shower. That's been my thing. And then it's on into the word, right? So it's just dig into the Bible, align yourself with the word, get the messages that you need to get from God. That it always gets me clear. But then go into some sort of fitness. I call it the daily 250, right? It's like 250 reps, just could be body weight, kettlebell, whatever, something that you know you can get in. Like there's no excuses. You get that done. You elevate yourself. You're feeling better. Your head's clear. And then I go into prayer to kind of end everything, right? That sets me up for the day and that gets me ready to roll, for whatever else is going to come, the rest of the day. But to me, and I kind of lost track, like with what the original question was, but um, what we were speaking on.
No, it's good. It's
Realignment.
just taking those daily steps or those steps
Right.
to like
Yeah.
follow God and listen to that
Yep.
voice and let your intuition lead
100%.
you.
Yeah. So, and really it's just alignment more than anything. Right? So when you start doing the work that you know you need to do, you start holding your word, being honest with yourself, what you typically find. And again, this is where the gateway that I was talking about, like there's no lies that you're telling yourself. And so you're not feeling dragged down. You're not feeling any sort of shame or regret or guilt about, oh, I fucking lied to myself again. Like, poor me. Like, put yourself into a positive state. Like, just follow through. And then you can stand strong when you start to speak to other people and you can be a beacon for them as well. But at least for me, that's been like the great connection point. Like, it elevates me, brings me closer to God anytime I'm tapping into that.
Travis, I think it's amazing when you look at guys who are elevated to the next level. You look at all of them, and we can go through a list. A lot of us follow the same guys, but they have some kind of routine. It's always in the morning.
Right.
It kind of has the same thing. Even if they're not praying and they're not a total man of God, they still have God in their life, and they're
Right.
meditating and they're journaling and they're doing something that grounds them, centers them, and connects them with the source. And
Right.
I think that's so important because like I talked to my son. He's 5 years old. He's captain of his jiu-jitsu team and one of the captains on the soccer team. And every day, every night we pray, right? Every night, and we pray as a family. And when we wake up, we do gratitude. So it's not that we pray, but I said, all right, man, what are we thankful for today? What are you
Right.
what are you going to give gratefulness towards today? And it could be something simple. He could be like, oh, it's towards my brother. I'm grateful for my brother. Being a big brother is awesome. It's just getting him in this routine at 5 years old. And I wish I had a father that did the same thing to me, right? A lot of us are like, dude, I really wish I just had a dad that showed up and taught me something of this.
Right.
Like this is like the thing is the grind never stops. And it's not that you have to grind, it just becomes part of you. And when
Right.
you don't do it, even on the weekends, you're like, dude, I feel like disconnected or something. I feel off. And I asked my son that when on what was it, Sunday, we didn't do anything. He was starting to not feel good. I said, how you feeling? He's like, I don't feel good. And we didn't do like a workout. We didn't do this. And he does body weight workouts with me pretty much every day. And he started kind of at like 3.5. You'd see him try to get down and do some burpees. Now, like he does,
Right.
and anything he does where he messes up, it's burpees. And everyone knows like that's what I do as a father. I am the guy who makes my 5-year-old do tons of burpees. He's done 250 in a day because he's just that's the consequence, man. I don't hit my
Yeah.
kids. I don't really yell at my kids, but you are gonna get down and do some burpees, and we're gonna get you back to being grounded, man. Because that's when
Yeah.
you recenter, and that's what working out does to me. So like in the morning, Well, today I took my 16-month-old and I rocked him up a mountain here in Mexico. I have a video I sent Nate, and we went about 5K and we were flying. I was running, and you see Mexicans like looking at me like, what the hell's this guy doing? And I'm just booking. And it's just, it
Crazy
made me
gringo.
feel,
That's
right?
right.
Crazy gringo. That's what they
Oh,
call
dude, I'm always the crazy gringo. I'm used to it by now. But it's like you get done and it's just, man, you feel so good. And when you work out and you actually feel your body and it changes and it just feels closer to God also. You're just like,
Yeah.
dude, you're closer to the source. And when you're closer to the source and then you meditate or pray or open the Bible and journal, dude, some things come out where you're just like,
Yeah.
it could be the inner kid that needed healing.
Yep.
It could be an ex relationship that you just didn't get over. And I think a lot of men overlook that and they're just like, you know what? I just need some beers and watch some good football. Like, really? That seems more
Hmm.
disconnecting than connecting the
Yeah.
source and actually moving
Well,
through
that's
the
that's the easy thing to do is just to sedate and distract yourself
correct.
from the hard stuff, right? So, but yeah, man, I 100% agree. It's like getting into that elevated state, your heart's pumping, blood's pumping through your veins. You got life in your soul, like you can feel it, right? Like most people, and to really experience God, like this is where like the big connection with like fitness and God comes in for me is like being present and in the moment, right? Like instead of like taking your mind elsewhere in a workout where it's like it's painful, like you're doing something hard, you're like, man, I can't wait to be done. You're just trying to fast forward through it. Like what I've been able to like experience just over the past couple of years is just like awareness in the moment. It's like this is exactly where I want to be. Like right now, feeling this pain, my shoulders are burning, my legs are burning. I can't catch my breath. Like feels great to be alive, right? Like thank you for the blessing. You talk about gratitude, like that. Gratitude is like action. You know what I mean? Like following through, doing what you said you'd do, being grateful, like truly grateful. And to close the loop there, because I think I was kind of going all over the place, but yeah, on November 9th, coming up on my birthday, because I started this almost 4 years ago, have not missed a single day of my AM routine with the daily 250, right? So, like tomorrow, for example, so there's a bunch of my clients coming together in Dallas, Texas for the ultra race for the Spartan race on Saturday. So I got to fly out like super early tomorrow. Like my flight's like at 6:50, which means I'll have to wake up at like probably 3:30, 4 to get my AM routine done. Doesn't matter. I'll still do it, right? But it's just like navigating through that stuff and it's just yeah, man, you get it done. You make that choice because of the connection it creates. So like the discipline is like reinforced, not just on like a personal level, but it's like on a divine level. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Powerful.
That's awesome, man. I dig that. I dig that.
And you
That's
being
cool,
in
man.
Mexico, man. If we have enough time, I'll have to share the story about when my buddy and I almost died in Mexico in college, which we can dig into that at the end if you want. So
Absolutely. Absolutely. I want to. So many people right now hit me up and they're like, dude, I hear the cartels this and this. I'm like, bro, you guys are hearing totally lies up there. When you come down here and you find out how peaceful it really is, you're gonna be shocked. When
hmm
you hear some good stories, it's great. And don't get me wrong, there's crazy stories down here, but there's crazy stories in the United States. And it's like, dude,
yeah,
get real, guys. Like, stop just blaming other places and saying like, and I get what people want. People want to say, I've got the best place. I got the best location. I'm in the right place, right state of mind. I'm doing the right thing. But again, sometimes it's like, dude, you're just being yourself lies. Have you even lived anywhere else? Have you tried anywhere else? Have you traveled the
right.
world? And it's like a lot of people. I mean, my family is just like this. It's funny. My sister's never left Cleveland, Ohio. That's where I'm originally from. And my son's already lived in 3 countries and 7 states. My
Yeah.
sister's still never left Cleveland. And then she'll be like, maybe you shouldn't move to Costa Rica. It sounds dangerous. I'm like, Costa Rica? What are you talking about? Have you ever been to Costa Rica? No, but I've heard something bad. What did you
Oh
hear
yeah.
bad? I don't know. I don't know.
Sounds like my mom.
Dude, it's like,
Like so yeah, college in college so I went to Hastings College. It's like a liberal arts college. So what they used to do, you had like a first quarter and it was a first half and a second half. And then in between those halves, over the course of a year, you'd have interim, and they'd really want you to study something outside of your direct focus. And they'd always have these trips, like these random trips. One was a trip to Mexico, and it was like study of like it was like ecology of the Southwest. So we went through all through like Mexico, and then another trip we we went all through Florida and whatnot. But yeah, Mexico, that was an interesting trip. But shortly after, the same friend that was with me in Mexico, he actually lives in Brazil now, and he married a Brazilian chick, and like he became a citizen down here because her citizenship ran out. So he's like, I'm going with her. But he lives in Brazil, and they started up a like they have a legit football league in Brazil, and it's pretty big. Like a lot of money has gone into it. But when they first started it, like they had no like strength and conditioning, like no order in that regard. So my buddy brought me down, and I was like strength and conditioning coach of this league for a little bit, coaching some different teams, taking them through some routines, building programs for them. So I was able to live in Brazil for a short period of time, which yeah, it was like a culture shock. But it was right around the time, I don't know if you guys remember, like these tourist bus were being hijacked, and in the favelas or whatever. It's like, well, number one, don't go up into those places because they're like, there's just some places, even in the US, just don't go there. You're asking for trouble. So I remember telling my mom, I was all excited. I was like, yo, you'll never guess. Like, I got this opportunity to go live in Brazil. I'm going to get paid for it. It's like basically a vacation. And first thing that comes out of her mouth is like, no, don't go. Like, you're going to get robbed. They're going to, take you captive, and all it's just like doom and gloom constantly. So going back to like what we were saying earlier, it's like sometimes there's like this circle of people that you just need to get yourself away from, even if that's like direct close family. And a lot of times, right? Like my mom is like straight up doom and gloom, man.
Yeah,
So,
no, I get that. And my wife would say the same thing. It's like I have two sisters. She has a sister, and they're all just like plugged in so hard into like the matrix and
yep,
everything that like they think, wow, you guys are crazy. You get to be with your kids all day long. You get to train your kids. You get to, that's insane. Why would you want to do that? A real man doesn't do that. That's what my grandma told me on Facebook.
right.
She's like, a real man's not with their kids all day long. Well, what the fuck's a real man to you? I'd like to know the definition of, but it's like they feel attacked by my content. I'm like, my content's not to attack you. It's more like a memoir to my life.
Mhm.
And it's
Right.
like, it has nothing to do with you. You're not even like in my life anymore because I've left Cleveland 20 something years ago and you guys are still in the same mindset. And it's hard to, influence those kinds of
Right.
minds. It's like they're like in quicksand and they're fucking up to their neck, and
Oh yeah.
you can't bring them back. And it's like, dude, I'm sorry. Like I love my sisters. That doesn't take away love. It just takes away like I don't want to be around. I don't want my kids around that kind of talk. It's very negative. It's very just like not critical thinking. It's not open minded. It's not connected to God, and it's just like a bad place to be and stay. But then
Right.
you think that's normal life because like then they're just grinding and grinding and grinding and grinding. And it's like they can't get out of this damn hamster wheel. And so I try not to go back, bro. I just try not to go
Yeah.
back.
It's tough because yeah, I mean, I'm like fitness is very important to me in my life. For my mom, not at all. Like she has to do oxygen treatment like 3 times a day. I mean, drinks Pepsi, just eats like crap, doesn't take care of herself. I mean, it's people have to want to be helped. Like they have to flip the switch for themselves. And it's like sometimes the harder you push to try to help them, like the more resistance you get back. And
So
so in those situations, it's like you got to let God take care of it. Like God will handle it. So we try to take too much control of those things. It's like it frustrates us, right? Like there was a period of time it was just like it was infuriating. I was like, here I am helping all these people change and transform their lives, but my own mom like won't even take any advice from me. Like she won't take any action. Like she has everything she needs at her fingertips if she wanted it, but she has to want it.
well, Davey Ramsey calls that the powdered butt syndrome, right? They're like, I powdered your butt when you were a baby.
Yep,
I don't have to listen to you. It's really
exactly.
hard to get through.
Hmm.
I mean, for I think all of us. I think the thing there too is that it's like, I look at I use this as my example because I look at my own dad and I think back, even when I was in high school, like my dad, a nice guy, great guy, but at the same time, he wasn't fit. So I wasn't, I'm looking at Arnold Schwarzenegger in his prime, thinking, holy shit,
Sure.
that's what I want to look like that, right? Or now, or boxers started to get into like fighting stuff like that. My dad was a more portly guy. It's like there was no real respect there to be like, oh, I want to be like that. And then when it came to finances, we didn't have a bunch of stuff, so I wasn't like, oh, I want to live my life like that. So you kind of have to like push yourself away from people who have a mindset that go, I don't know if I want that. You know what? I will say this: he had a great spiritual mind. He's very intelligent, and I think I grabbed a lot of that from him. But at the same time, you know, I think now as a dad, and this is what I mean by I use that as my example. I look and go, okay, when I looked at my dad, I didn't want the life he lived, and I didn't want the body he had. I didn't want all these things. So now, what if I live the life I want and it can be the example to my own sons and my own daughter?
Mm.
Like
Yep.
I really truly believe that my sons look at me and go, okay, I want to live like that. I want to have money like dad has money. I want to have the body that dad has. I want to have the confidence that dad has. And then I want my daughters to also look and go, well, I'm looking for that guy.
Yep.
Like not because they need to attach themselves to a guy, but the truth is when they're looking for a guy that they're going to marry, they're going to marry who we are, right?
Yep. A lot of
They're going to
times.
marry their dad to a level in some way, shape, or form. And I better hope that I've made such a great example as to who they should get with, in the sense of the kind of man that they should marry. That when I look at him, I'm like, I like that guy. And my hope is that my sons are following so much in that those footsteps that when she finds a guy that doesn't fit that, we're like, what the hell is wrong with you? What's wrong
Hmm.
with this guy? Like the guy feels like he can't be part of the family unless he figures out
Right.
his some of his own shit. And
Right.
I think that we either have to we have to step away from people who are not willing to open their mind and change their actions and have the mindset that does something strong, like that requires strength in
Hmm.
order to be that. And then we have to continue to be that in order to be the example of those that come behind us. I think it's really hard
Yeah.
though that, you can't look at your family, your parents or your brothers and sisters and be like, yo, I've helped all these people. Why don't you just come with me?
Yeah.
You've been with me since the beginning. Why don't you come with me now?
Exactly. Yeah. It's tough. It's tough. But yeah, man, you hear stories of, I mean, it's even the opposite. It's like, I've got a number of guys in the program. It's like their kids are getting to that age where they're getting into stuff, and got one in particular where just heavy into drugs. It's like, yo, you're killing me, you're killing your mom with the way you're behaving, like getting locked up in, jail. And it's like, you're killing us. Like, don't you want to change for us? And it's like the harder they try, the worse he gets. And it's like
Yeah.
that's where it's just give it to God.
Mm-hmm.
You're stepping in and you're trying to control what's going to happen. And that's not working. It's like that individual, their son needs to find God. That's what he needs to do.
Mm.
And just let him
Yeah.
guide the way.
You,
It's
you know,
it's such a
Travis,
hard, difficult situation, you know. It's like,
my wife and I, we talk about this all the time. Before we met each other, we both hit rock bottom. I was homeless for a while in my 20s. My mom died at 22, and I used that as an excuse to just be a total piece of shit. Womanizing, drugs, alcohol, whatever I could get. You know what I mean? Any dopamine hit that was negative, I was taking it. And I
right.
just didn't care. And my wife, she has a very similar story. Then when we got together, it was just like chaos because it was just like two people who really didn't heal those wounds. And then we kind of hit rock bottom together. Even though I was a captain in the military, leading fucking 70 soldiers, it was just like I'm going to work, leading 70 soldiers, but then at home it was just a fucking chaos. And we
Right.
rebuilt it together. And then we just started changing. We changed our diets. We got rid of seed oils. We lowered our gluten take. We got rid of alcohol. We stopped doing this and that, and we just started one little thing at a time. It wasn't like
Yeah.
all overnight, right? It was over a
Yep.
period of time. And then we just started like kind of like we talked about earlier. The universe came back in, then all of a sudden God came back in, and it was like, oh, hello, God, you're back. I thought I
Yep.
got rid of you as my in my teen years or my troubled times. And
Then he's like, I
when
never left. I
yeah,
never left. I was here
exactly.
the whole time.
That's
Nate
right.
He
knows
was
the whole
blind.
story. I
You
did
weren't listening.
DMT. I've done DMT like 3 times now, and it's called Tepesca Huite down here. It's a real. proper ceremony that's tied to Pachamama, and it's really big, and it's only like 5 to 10 minutes. It doesn't last long, but God showed up. Jesus showed up specifically, and we were talking to Kyle Carnahan at this time. He's like, "What a fucking story, dude! You found Jesus through DMT. Like, let's talk about the drugs you're doing out in
Yeah.
Mexico."
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
and but it's funny because me and Jesus had like a whole talk, and we're just like, I'm like, dude, I thought like you're not around anymore. He's like, no, I've always been here. You chose not to listen to me or
Yep.
see me, and you pushed me away, but I've been here, still supporting you. And,
Hmm.
and I remember like I came out of that. I'm getting the chills right now just thinking that like that talk was so powerful and so real because it's opening a whole different consciousness, right? And so it reconnected me. And when I'm talking to Jesus, and like now we pray to Jesus and we pray to God, and we really get down and dirty with our prayers and gratefulness and hey, well, God, help me here. And it took all of that pain away. But the problem is that I look at not a problem, but a good thing for us is that we went through this shit. So hoping our kids don't. So if you were one of those parents and then you see your kid going through the shit, you're like, fuck, man, I want to control it because I know how I went through it.
Yeah.
And so you can't control it though. You have to also allow them to go through their own journey. And that's man, I hope I never have to deal with that. I have young kids, man, under 5. So I don't really, I can't fathom even thinking like that. You know what I mean? But if that happened, you know, I'd be like, dude, you're on your own journey, and God, please just help. I'd probably just have to pray more. I don't even know. I don't know. Like that's a tough situation. Someone else, one of my buddies, just told me something about his own path and his own kids, and he's like, dude, I let go and I let God take it, and I feel like it's getting better, but I try to control it so hard that I was getting anxiety. I couldn't sleep. I was waking up in the middle of the night. I was just hurting myself. I couldn't go to work properly. I couldn't do anything properly. And he's like, I finally just went to prayer and I let go. And it seems
Hmm.
that that's going to be the way that's helping me. So, in those times, I just don't know, man. That's a tough situation to be in. And I hope no one out there has to go through that. But this is the real world. And we know like shit like that could happen. So,
Yeah. Yeah. It's difficult, man. And it's not like you're just completely throwing whatever you're dealing with off to the side. It's like you said, turning to prayer is always the thing you can turn to, right? Like not even doing that. If you shut that off, then you know that's giving up pretty much, right? So you got to stay tapped in and yeah, man, letting God take the reins in certain situations. It's like they say, you can lead a horse to water, right? You can't get it to drink. I experience that all the time with clients. It's like you know what your macros are. You're not hitting them. You know what the workouts are. You're not hitting them, right? It's like how much more clear can the path be for you? It's like you have to choose and decide. Freedom of
you ever hear
choice,
Alex
right?
Hormozy talk about that? Alex
What's
Hormozy has
that?
the thing. He's like, if you take the horse to water, but then you remove, he like Alex Hormozy breaks down everything. He's like, you will get that horse to drink water, and he like it's like you remove so many layers of that horse in
Hmm.
the situation, and you don't let it drink water for a month, and then you don't let it do this. And he's like, watch, the horse will drink water, but you need to look at all those little things that you're gonna have to do first to
Hmm.
remove it to then make it drink water. And,
True.
and the mind, when I heard him say that analogy, I was like, fuck, dude, Alex Hormozy, you're on a whole nother level, dude. I
Yeah.
mean, which we know
I
he is.
think you look at that, I mean, you break it down. Yeah, you're removing all of the pieces, you're removing all of the bullshit that's keeping that person from, doing what they need to do. They're going to finally arrive to that moment where they too have to take the red pill.
Mm,
You know what I mean? They have to decide.
yeah.
And that's what God has given us all. It's free
So
will.
what do you do with your clients that don't like? I mean, I assume, I mean, they're paying you, they're doing all this stuff. It's like it feels like you've got them. Like when you start paying for something, like if you get it for free,
Hmm.
people can squander that. That makes sense. Like I
Right.
mean, my oldest son got a free car and never took care of it ever. And like
Right.
basically destroyed it because he never paid attention to it at all. But once he put his skin in the game, it was like, oh hey, usually
Yeah.
that's the case. So you got these clients that are like you said, you're like leading them to water, and you're like, please fucking drink this because this is going to help you, right?
Hmm.
what
Right.
what do you end up doing? Do you end up just going, hey, like this isn't working and cut them and say, come back when you're ready? Like, what do you think? One, what do you do to help
Hmm.
them even more?
Right.
And two, what do you think the mindset shift is? Like I've heard you say decide a couple times in that
Yep.
these past few minutes, and it's like, is there something else in there that you are able to
Hmm.
like get them to flip the switch?
Yeah. Yep. So on the front end, it all starts with the initial conversation on, what's going on in your life? How bad is it? What is it that you want in life and how bad do you want that? And so breaking all that down, but then really, and it's interesting through my sales evolution, because everything is sales, right?
Sure.
Like everything is sales, influence, persuasion. It's just the perspective that you have with it. And I guess bringing other bits and pieces into it, it's like led to how I do things now. And everything is a decision that they make. Like, are you ready? You ready to fucking step in the arena with us? Like, I make it very, very clear what the expectations are before we even begin.
Mm,
And so that's number one. It's like, I'm not your babysitter. If you drop off and I make it so difficult for guys not to succeed, right? Meaning, like, you would actually have to put in effort not to succeed. Like, the layers of accountability we have is just insane. It's like, you got the group accountability, you got the one-to-one coach to client accountability, but then you have what we call the weekly own up inside of our group. It's like now you are owning up to the group and you are promising and you are declaring what you're going to do. But then we take it another step further and it's like you got the commitment and the promise that you're making with God.
mm,
And so if you're going to do this thing, that's the man that you're going to have to answer to when it's all said and done. So you can make a decision on that. So I make that very, very clear coming in. Like this is what's expected, right? Has it been 100% pass rate? Hell no, right? Like it just blows my mind the thousands of dollars that guys will put down and not do a damn thing. But that's after everything has been laid out. So do I feel bad about it? I don't, right? Like we go years and years back when, I started, different programs in my gym. Like I'd have guys get in and I would never make that very, very clear that, hey, this is the expectations, right? So clients would have the wrong expectations. And then if that ever, went to a certain level, like I would quickly refund. I've refunded clients in the past, but that was because of me. Like I didn't
mm,
follow through. But I make it very, very clear, like this is what I do for a living. I'm gonna show up every fucking day, right? I'm not gonna give you an out for why you can justify not showing up. Like that's on you, right? But I'm gonna be here every day and we can play this game together and understand like I'm not in front of you running in front of you. I want you to run shoulder to shoulder with me with the rest of the men. And that I think that's the most powerful piece and something that I just introduced into our program to make it a little bit more intimate for guys because like truth is the big thing, right? And so especially when guys first come in, I mean you got a group of 100 plus guys, it's not like you're going to come in and be like, "Hey, I did this and this and this." It's like I haven't told anybody else this, but I just met you guys and paid for this program, so I'm going to tell you all. It's not going to work.
right.
But I break guys down into like smaller teams. And it's like this is your team for the next 8 weeks. Like you guys are going to get to know each other very, very well. And there's not one leader in that team. The leadership rotates every single week. So there's nowhere to hide, right? And if you do try to hide and you don't follow through on specific commitments for these groups, out of here. And then you never get to join those groups again, right? And so it's like now you're not only committing to yourself, but now you're committing to these other men in the group instead of, oh, there's 100 guys in the group, I can kind of hide off to the side, and never post or do that shit. So it's done wonders, man.
It's
But
good.
I think the biggest thing is just clear expectations. It's like, hey, this is what I'm expecting. I'm going to be doing my thing because only I can control that. You got to do your thing that only you can control. I'll give you all the tools, systems, processes that you need to run and win, but it's your choice if you want to use them. So it's
Wow.
kind of like everybody has access to a Bible.
Right.
right? Like very accessible. It's free. You can get a free app now. You don't even
Yeah.
need like a physical Bible. So like there's just no actual excuses that you can use other than just lack of effort and follow through.
Travis, you weren't an ex-military by any chance, were you?
I was not, man. I get
Dude,
that question a
that
lot.
sounds the way you laid it out is exactly how we do it in the military. Everything's broken down
Hmm.
into like smaller teams. We rotate
Yep.
leadership. And then even in the
Yeah.
smaller teams, you get battle buddy teams. So
Yep.
it's like you have a one-on-one also, so you have to hold it accountability with one-on-one. I did the same thing when I was running Frequency of Fatherhood. I mean, obviously,
Yep.
I got rid of Frequency of Fatherhood, and now this is like my own thing because we do a whole homeschooling project here. I run the Warrior Kid Club here, so like that's been more fun for me and
Yep.
uh, rewarding. But yeah, that dude, that was like when you were saying that, like, bro, are you sure you
You
weren't military?
know, so you know where that whole idea came. So I have three clients that I work with. They're not inside of the Forge Father. They can't be a part of like public facing groups like that. They're two of them are SEAL Team Six, and then another is just an active SEAL right now. And I powwow with them all the time. I do their programming, their nutrition, and we got a little text group. And they'll kind of like listen into our calls and stuff like that. And this was like early last year. And they're like, man, some of these guys need like a beating. I'm like, I know. I feel like the accountability is just it's getting difficult. And so we had like a Zoom call, and I was just chatting with them. I was like, shit, what do you got? Like, do you guys have some sort of thing called like a fire team? And they're like, it used to be a four-man team, but I think they said it moved to like a six-man team or something like that. But it was like it rotated leadership, and I came up with it. I was like, shit, I'm gonna call it Forge Fire Teams, four-man groups. We'll do, two cycles through. Every man gets two opportunities to be the leader of the group, and then there's specific things that the leader is doing every single week to, hold them a little bit more accountable, but really just to get to know the other guys on like a deeper level versus just being a part of like a massive group. And it's just
Mm.
like, I've never seen Dave before. He never shows up to the call times that I'm on. It's just like, I wanted to make it a little bit more intimate community, but then the conversations that start to be had, once you kind of break that ice and you start to trust one another a little bit more, and they're like, oh shit, this guy's just like me. He's got problems too. It's like that's where we can really start to fix shit, right? So, but yeah.
I have one question. I know we're coming up on an hour here, but someone brought up a good point to me the other day. I think it was to me and Nate about a red pill is often working out. It's literally just working on your body because once you start working on your body, you have to go to your mind and then you start looking at the world a whole different way. You're like, dude, you walk by, you're starting to feel physically fit. You walk by someone, you're like, dude, what the hell? How can I help them? Or you just see them as like, dude, they're so tapped in. They're just eating all the seed oils. They're eating all the shit. They're eating fast food. They're letting their kids eat Coke and or drink Coke and eat McDonald's and all this shit. Um, do you think that is true that working on your body and working on yourself is the red pill for many people is that once you work on your physical fitness that it opens you up to a whole new world of like you know what maybe all the shit we've been taught and just been given is full of shit and then that makes you start questioning the entire system and narratives out there in the world.
I'll put it like this, man. My elite program in Forge Father is called Unleash for a reason, right? Most men that come to me, it's because, we got four buckets that we're looking to fill. Faith, family, financials, fitness, right? The fitness bucket for most of these guys is completely fucking empty, right? And so what's happening with that? It's taking from the other buckets. It's stealing from the other buckets. If it's not empty, it's full of holes. And so anything that they are pouring into that bucket is just leaking out the bottom. And it's just a heavy weight that they got to carry around. But I call this program Unleash is because like guys that are overweight, out of shape, I mean, it is a burden. Whether they want to admit it or not, it is a burden. It's something that they see every single morning. They see themselves in the mirror. And they might have everything. They might have all the money, they might have the job, the marriage, the kids, everything, but then they're reminded of that one thing that they don't have. And the only one thing that they have control over. And so it's interesting. You take guys like that that are winning in all the other categories and you change and transform their body, it's like crazy to see what they start doing in life. Like they're operating down at this level, and then you get them disciplined, you get them committed, trusting themselves, right? Feeling better about themselves. I mean, shit, it unlocks so much, but it unleashes that higher level version of you, right? So yeah, there's no doubt in my mind like that. It's a key piece. And it's interesting the trend that we're starting to see just over the past couple of years. It's like now you're seeing starting to see a lot of these like higher level dudes that motivational speakers, well-known guys. Now they're starting to get in shape, right? Starting to, see more like David Goggins type guys, speaking versus like you got this heavy set dude up there speaking. It's like, oh yeah, he's created a lot of success, but I don't know how much I want to actually like, respect this guy. Like I
Right.
respect what he's saying, but I don't respect what he's portraying. Like dude's 50 pounds overweight. Like, what are you going to tell me about discipline? Right.
100%.
So, but yeah, man, it's that inner connection of just like discipline. When you have that discipline, it's something that nobody can give you. You can't buy it. You have to earn it. So that's powerful.
Dig that. I dig that you're saying it, like you have to earn it. That changes your mindset so
Yep.
much. Like you said, you
100%.
you have to earn the body that you want. And then that changes how you see everything. I mean, I think about like people like Jack saying people tapped in, and I'm tapped into the just the matrix, and it's like you want you want free healthcare, and you want free this and free that, and you want everything free. And I even hear my kids say this. Dude, I hear my kids say all the
Hmm.
time, I wish money wasn't a thing. I wish like because I'll be like, yeah, we're not going to do that. Like, why? I'm
The
like, well,
world would be an interesting place.
it would be. You're right. And they're like, I wish we didn't have to deal with money and everything was free. Because I'll always be like, dude, there's nothing free. Even I had an economy professor in college. He's like, nothing is free. Every time someone gives you something for free, it's costing somebody somewhere. And I'm
Hmm.
like, and I think that you're right, man. When you put the understanding that the body you want is not free, the moment you start to do that and you grasp that, I feel like what you'll end up doing is that starts to translate into, oh, the marriage I want isn't free. It's not like, oh, I just get married and then we just have what we wanted. We just do it. The finances I want, obviously that's not free. I have to exchange value for what I'm looking for. It just starts to make that change the mindset on every level. And I guess I keep coming back to it, but my hope is that as I'm doing that and as we're doing that, we're looking at our kids and our kids going, oh, they're correlating work
Hmm.
and effort with the things that they want, as opposed to just hoping they're free. Even though, at 9, 10, and 5, they're like, I wish it was free.
Yeah. And you hit on a good point, man. It's like you're going into the different buckets, like all of it is earned. Like all of it is earned, right? Especially like the faith piece too. It's like, oh, I want to be closer to God. Like I'm sure you guys have had many men approach you like, hey, I want to be closer with God. Like, how do I do it? Get intentional with it.
Mm.
Be intentional with it every day, multiple times a day. You can't be just convenient with it. You can't be convenient with your marriage and expect your marriage to be on fire. You can't be convenient with your fitness. It's just you're not going to get in great shape that way. You can't get you just convenience is the opposite of what we need,
And that's what
right?
the
And
world
so it's
keeps
just
pushing.
it's going to be uncomfortable. Everybody knows that. It's going to be inconvenient, very inconvenient,
Yeah,
right? But everything that we want is on the other side of that inconvenience.
that's
So,
awesome. That's gold right there.
Travis, I was thinking, all right, this is gonna be my final word. I'll pass it to Nate, and the last word's always our guest. So, in a world that deems healthy, no meat, but they put Fruit Loops up on the top, right, of the pyramid. In a world that's pushing all these other narratives that want to keep you down and they keep you, you know, with dopamine hits, keep you attached to your phone, watching porn, disconnected from family, disconnected from self. You mentioned a lot of things here of filling up your own buckets and reflecting and self-awareness. And I just want to say, one, thank you for being on the show, and thank you for bringing that to the guests because a lot of people need that self-reflection. It all starts with self, and it all starts by looking in that mirror. And sometimes we just need to say, "Hey, am I living the life that God wants me to live? What does God want us all to live, and how should we live this life?" And when you take that self reflection piece, it's mandatory that you have it. in that you look yourself in the mirror and say, hey, can I do better? And I think all of us can do a little bit better. Even as we move up, we're just like, dude, we just get further in and we're like, damn, this we're already disciplined, we're already consistent, we're already showing up for our family. And then we're like, dude, I just stepped up a whole nother notch. And because you get so used to your own rhythm that, like you said, you hit the next peak and you're like, dude, what's the next peak? I could go further. I could keep going. I'm used to
Yeah.
this now. And I just want to let the people out there know you get used to the uncomfortable positions. Get comfortable in the uncomfortable. We all know that saying, and it's a saying for
Right.
a reason. And that's how I'm going to leave it. And I'll send it over to you, Nate. Thanks again, Travis, for being here.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
man.
appreciate you having me on, man.
Yeah, Travis, thank you so much. I think the major takeaway for me is how you put it right there near the end. Everything is earned, including faith. I thought that was interesting because, obviously when you were talking about God and when you understand that Jesus came and died on the cross to give us freedom, that was grace. That was all what we would say is free. But you can't have the kind of relationship you want or the knowledge about things that you want if you don't earn it. Like you won't know anything about what God has to say if you're not reading the Bible. So I like that. I don't want to say it's a spin, but I like that way you put that was even faith is earned because it takes work. So thank you much, man, for that.
100%. Yeah. And I mean, God's always there for us. It's like when we were talking about earlier, it's like we leave, we get distracted, we get pulled into a pit and go blind. God was always there for us the whole time, right? So it's not that we have to earn that, like that's
Right.
always there. But if we want to take that relationship deeper, like we have to put in the effort. Like it's a
Yeah.
100 relationship, right? So, yeah.
Well, thanks so much for being here, Travis, man. We really appreciate you. They can find you at the Forged Father on Instagram. That's the main place,
Yep,
right?
the Forge Father. Yep, that's my
Awesome.
handle there. And find me on Instagram and yeah, that
Yeah,
links to pretty much everything else.
awesome. Give Travis a follow. Make sure that you like, comment, and share this as well. We got this episode out here soon, Travis. So we're excited for that. And yeah, make sure you guys follow Travis at the Forge Father on Instagram. And we'll see you next time.
All right, guys.
Peace.
Thank you. Later.